So in 2008, when the first of the global food price crises arose, I was in discussion with some of my colleagues in Australia, particularly with the Crawford Fund, who were thinking about how should Australia respond to this and perhaps contribute, particularly where the food prices hikes were having very negative effect on agriculture in the developing world. And one of our colleagues and advisors is Bob McMullen, who at that time was the Parliamentary Secretary for International Development. And indeed he visited Ilwe and the Becker campus around about the same time. And so Bob suggested that perhaps the Crawford Fund could organise a task force of appropriate Australian expertise to actually look at the issues both from a global perspective and then through the lens of Australia to see how Australia could contribute. And so I was drafted onto that task force, and then I ended up being one of the main drafters of the report. But we turned that around in about 6 months, which, given we had a task force of about 12 people or so, and produced a reasonably comprehensive analysis. And then that led to influencing a number of policy decisions within Australian aid. And one of the key issues was, should Australian aid make some investments into Africa? And indeed, over the next year, 2009 and 10, Australia is now supporting a food security initiative in Africa with a number of components, one in West Africa with an organisation called CORAF, and then one here in East Africa, which is a partnership between Becker and CSIRO, Australia's premier research organisation, in looking at developing technologies for reducing food insecurity issues in animal health and in food and nutrition. And in June of last year, I was awarded a Member of the Order of Australia, which was subsequently presented at Government House in Queensland in September. And that was an award for my services to science and international development, and also towards livestock health in Africa, recognising my long association with ILRI. And that was very pleasing, I must say. And I was particularly pleased that a scientist was recognised, and that's not all that common. So that was very nice. Usually these awards in Australia go mainly to cricketers and other sportsmen, etc. And one of my favourite cricketers, Alan Gilchrist, received the award in the same set as me. So I thought I was in pretty good company if I was given an award at the same time as Adam Gilchrist. Also my nephews, I have 6 nephews, very large young men doing interesting things in politics and business, and they were extremely interested and wanted to be part of this. So I was able to take my nephews to Government House and to Parliament House, and so it became a very family affair. In fact, the photograph, somebody said, "Gabriel, you look like you're travelling with your bodyguards."